So today's World Cancer Day. I want to start this video with a simple but really uncomfortable fact. Every 2 minutes in the UK, someone is diagnosed with cancer. No warning, no prep time. Just one sentence in a doctor's surgery that changes everything. So this video is a reality check. Because working as I do in mortgages and protection, I've seen the same pattern over and over again. People hear the word cancer, and once they get over the initial shock, they're not panicking about dying. They panic and worry about how long they can keep working, whether the mortgage is going to get paid, what happens to their income, and how their family's going to cope if everything suddenly stops. And that's what this video is really all about. Let me start by saying this video is deep. It goes into a lot of detail. It's a long video. But please watch it. I wanted to do a long detailed video like this because most people's experience when they talk about protection is quite rushed. It's essentially a tick box at the end of a mortgage application. A quick conversation, a let's just get your mortgage covered and that'll do kind of moment. And I don't say that critically. Life's busy and protection isn't exactly dinner party conversation. But the problem is this. Protection's usually discussed in products, not outcomes. People are told that this is life insurance, this is critical illness, this is income protection. It's what we call the pillars of protection. But what people aren't told is which problem each one of these pillars solves, when it pays, how long it pays for, and what it doesn't do. Because illness doesn't arrive neatly labelled. Cancer doesn't say, right, today we're only affecting income, not the mortgage. It lands messily, emotionally and financially. And that's why protection is structured. And that structure matters far more than the brand name on any policy. If you've already seen my 4 Pillars of Protection video, then this really is the deep dive version. And if you've not seen it, please flip back, watch that, come back to where we are now. Or just keep going, your choice. But I do use the words pillars very deliberately. Because pillars support something. They don't replace each other. And if one's missing, the whole structure is weak. So let's walk through it slowly. Pillar number 1 is life cover. Life cover is the one that everyone recognises. If you die, a lump sum is paid to your family. Yes, very good. We all know about that. Simples. But here's the important bit. Life cover's not for you. You'll never see it. It's for the people you leave behind. It's about clearing debts, paying off the mortgage, replacing lost income, and giving your family choices, not pressure. And crucially, it does pretty much nothing whilst you're alive but ill, which is why it's only one of the pillars and not the whole plan. And then there's critical illness, the second pillar. And critical illness sits in a very specific space. It pays a tax-free lump sum if you're diagnosed with a defined serious condition. And those definitions are quite wide. And cancer is one of the most common. But this money can be used to do whatever you want. It can pay off the mortgage. It can fund time off work. It can pay for adaptations in your home. It can reduce financial stress. But it usually only pays once. That means it's incredibly powerful, but also limited if used on its own. And then there's the third pillar, income protection. This is the pillar that keeps life ticking over when things go wrong. Income protection pays a monthly income if you can't work due to illness or injury. So it's not just things like cancer, not even dramatic things. It can be back problems, mental health issues, recovering from surgery. And it pays for as long as the policy allows. Sometimes even years, sometimes right up to retirement. And this is where a long-term illness is actually managed. And then there's the fourth pillar, family income benefit. Now this is a form of life cover, but it works very differently. Instead of a single lump sum, it pays a regular monthly income if you die. And why does that matter? Because families don't live on lump sums. They live on monthly budgets. So family income benefit can quietly replace a salary And quite often that's exactly what a family needs. And what you might start to see here is that if you start combining these various pillars, suddenly you get a very, very powerful level of protection. But given this is World Cancer Day, what I really want to talk about is why cancer is different to so many other illnesses. It's not always more severe, but it is more unpredictable. Some people respond really well to treatment and they get back to work quickly. Others don't. Some relapse. Some are left completely unable to work full time again. So people tend to make assumptions about what cancer looks like. But here's where the assumptions break down. Most people assume I'll just use sick pay, I'll bounce back, I'll figure it out. But statutory sick pay is not only tiny, but it's also limited. And even employer sick pay runs out. And if you're self-employed, well, you're not going to get either of those things. And this is why cancer is one of the conditions that often exposes big gaps in people's protection. Not because people are careless, but because they assume life's logical, and it isn't. So let's just pause a minute and talk about actual insurance providers. You're going to hear me reference Royal London quite a lot in this video. It's not because they're the only insurer. They aren't. It's because they publish some of the most transparent and detailed claim statistics in the industry. And as a broker, I work with a wide range of insurers. Different providers suit different people, different health histories, occupations, budgets, preferences, how you want to engage with your provider. But the reason I'm using Royal London's data is simple. It's because it actually shows us what happens when people claim. And the patterns we see there are echoed right across the market. Royal London are not alone in being proud of what they pay out. So let's talk about it. In 2024, Royal London paid out over £180 million in critical illness claims. And nearly 64% of those claims were cancer related. That statistic alone should change how people view this cover. Critical illness isn't rare. It isn't fringe. It's used, and it's used a lot. But it's also often misunderstood. People think, oh, I've got critical illness, I'm covered. But covered for what? A lump sum can be life-changing, but it doesn't last forever unless it's supported by income. And this is where we see the biggest regrets in protection cover. People clear off the mortgage, which is great, but they've still got no income coming in, so what are you going to live on? It's not failure, it's just incomplete planning. And to be honest, I blame people like me for not talking about this enough. Every broker should be shouting about this from the rooftops. And then there's income protection. And this is where the data really matters. Royal London's income protection claims lasted on average 1 year and 5 months. Some claims ran for over 13 years. Now just remember, statutory sick pay only lasts for 28 weeks. So this tells us something really important. Long-term illness isn't a blip. It's a lifestyle change. Income protection is the cover that adapts with that reality. It doesn't panic, it doesn't rush. It just quietly replaces your income while you focus on recovery. And for self-employed people, this is especially important. This is often the difference between getting better, healing properly, and being forced back to work because you can't afford not to. And I want to finish this by bringing it back to families. Life cover and family income benefit work brilliantly together. They aren't about fear, they're about dignity. They allow families to grieve without panic, to make decisions slowly, to stay in their home, to keep routines for children. And that matters more than spreadsheets will ever show. So if you are thinking about protection this World Cancer Day, it's not about choosing an insurer, it's about understanding the risk and planning calmly while you can. Protection isn't a decision to be rushed. Like everything in life, it should be planned. And if you're watching this and thinking, I should probably check my protection insurance, then that's not fear, that's clarity. And clarity is always the best place to act from. Just remember, your package, your pillars, your menu of protection that you've chosen, it's there so that when life presses pause, your protection package presses play. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.